What a first week in the NFL. You are back with the Viking Update podcast. Tim Yotter and Jim Souhan. So much to talk about already. It's going to be a fascinating season, you can tell. And talknorth.com is the place to come for the best Vikings and NFL podcast. This one with Tim Yotter, publisher of Viking Update, is the most popular on a very rapidly growing network. And we also have just added Jeff Diamond, who's going to offer kind of the executive and historical Viking perspective to the NFL and anything that happens in Purple Land as well. And as we continue to grow and add advertisers, I will say that this would be a good time to sponsor this program, and we can cut you a deal if you want to do both of the football shows and reach a lot of people. Thanks to Brandon Morton, our producer. A personal request, if you can download before you listen, it's a better listening experience. It's also good for our business. And you can check out all the shows at talknorth.com, including Russo, Cheryl Reeve, Roy Smalley, John Krasinski, and a lineup too long to actually list here. Thanks to WhizKids.tech, Mississippi Pub, where we occasionally do live shows, Beaver Island Brewing, which supports those live shows, Twill and the Edina Galleria, Fixology Repair, and Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. And let's get to what I think is the most significant Vikings Week 1 story, which is Kirk Cousins looked like a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he looked comfortable in the pocket, even when he was pressured. He made good decisions. And to me, the most impressive part was some of the seam routes that he hit on the combination routes. If Thielen was up top and Diggs underneath, and he just seemed to find all the right receivers to go to, the right timing. And I was also super impressed with the way that he just absolutely trusts his receivers to make plays. And whether you say he's throwing them open or he's just saying, even if I'm a little bit wrong on this, they're going to make me right. To me, it was a really good performance, a great start for him. And
context is always so important when you talk about quarterbacks. Way too often, people just react to the scoreboard. You have to look at context, circumstances. Facing a very good defensive front.
Yeah.
Under pressure almost all the day. Really not much of a running game.
Right.
Really, they could not get Dalvin Cook going in the running game, although he looked very good in the passing game. Against a very tough opponent, playing with new offense coordinator, new receivers, new situation, and a lot of pressure. I was very impressed. There were a couple passes that were a little risky, or they looked a little risky. But that happens. In every NFL game to every NFL quarterback. And I think the combination of accuracy on those touchdown passes, command of the offense, ability to stay out of trouble, and then, as I wrote about in the Star Tribune, the willingness to lower your head on 3rd and 5 and almost kill yourself, I think it's a bad decision, but it's the kind of bad decision in football that really wins over locker rooms.
Well, and I don't think it was a bad decision in this context. He was going for a first down, an important play at an important part of the game. So I don't have a problem with him making that decision at that time. Now, if it's the first quarter, things are still playing out, and you're trying to figure it out, take the slide. You're going to come up short. Maybe you punt it away. But in that instance, I don't really have a big issue with it. I actually thought that there was a potential for him to draw the flag on that one because as he went down to dive, the defender went down, and I think they made helmet-to-helmet contact, and if you're talking about calling the rules as they are written, there was a possibility for that one. I don't have a problem at all with somebody going and trying to hit him when he's going head first. If he's not going to slide, that's part of the game. But given the circumstance when he did that, I don't mind that at all.
I would ask my quarterback at this juncture of the season not to do that. But that is the conundrum of modern professional football. You love toughness, you love aggressiveness, and players are always intelligent players are always balancing risk versus reward. For me, and I think conservatively when it comes to player injuries, I'd rather see him not make that risk. And yet, making that risk really energizes a franchise.
Yeah,
it tells the other people that you're not there for the money, you're not there for personal glory, you're there to win games.
And I think that's kind of important with Cousins' situation, coming in to a new team, getting all that guaranteed money to show them, look, I'm not just about the money, I'm not just about the publicity. I want to win. And, frankly, he doesn't have a winning record yet in the NFL. And so him coming here has a lot to do with the team, not necessarily everything that can come along with winning. So I don't mind that. To me, one of the other kind of unspoken storylines was how much they decided to pass in this game. It was first of all, first regular season game with this, as you mentioned, new coordinator, new receivers, and a new center, and they're still, passing that many times. Is the most attempts the Vikings have ever had in a season-opening game without an interception. Now, if we're looking at it balanced, I would say there was one throw I definitely thought was a bad throw that was almost intercepted. It was weak. It was to the outside, and you can't have those kinds of throws. But, when you're doing everything else, hitting those seam routes so well, I was surprised that they didn't go to Kyle Rudolph more often. I expected him to be a bigger part of the game, and I think his only catch was a touchdown catch. But, he is putting the ball in all the right places.
I agree. And, so much is determined by game plan and the opposing strengths and what's there for you, too. I mean, Rudolph might have been pretty well covered. It's, I didn't notice him that much, which, I haven't broken down the film, but watching the plays develop, there weren't many times I said, oh, Rudolph was wide open and they missed him.
No, I don't think he missed. I didn't, sitting up in the press box, kind of getting that eagle eye view, I didn't really see any obvious misses that he had. Right. And even at times, I think fans are a little too critical if they look at somebody that's open. And you got to, as we talk about context, you have to look at how much was he under pressure? Where was his movement taking? It's impossible to look at 3 or 4 different receivers out on the field while you're trying to escape pressure. So I thought he found what was there, took advantage of it. Rudolph's touchdown, I don't really think Rudolph was that open, and he may have gotten away with a little bit of a push off on that. But you know what? That happens a lot in the NFL.
WhizKids.tech, WhizKids.tech. If you'd like to reach them, if you'd like them to be your chief technology ally, you can email hello@WhizKid.it.com, WhizKidit.com. Michael Vannert's organization in downtown Minneapolis. I'm looking at the map right now, not far from where I live, not far from Target Field, not far from downtown Minneapolis. Great Minneapolis company that can help you with all of the things that your company probably needs help with.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thannert, founder and CEO of WhizKids. WhizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WhizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WhizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at WhizKids.tech. That's WhizKids.tech. WhizKids, make it happen.
Dalvin Cook, interesting game for him in that just didn't have much room. When he did have room, he made a dynamic run and fumbled at the end of it. Looked very good in the passing game, but offensive line was not great against a very good opponent, and I don't know how much to read into that at this point of the season.
Well, here's one thing that I think when it comes to this offensive line. The weakness, especially without Pat Elflein in there, is the interior of the offensive line. The strength of the 49ers is DeForest Buckner right in the middle of that thing, and he made himself known. I think he ended up with like 2.5 sacks or something like that. And frankly, Riley Reif, Tom Compton didn't do a great job a lot of the game passing off some of the stunts. Buckner got one of his sacks because he went outside and those guys didn't handle it the way they should. I am going to be really curious to see, though, when Pat Elflein comes back, whether it's this coming week, probably more like 2 or 3 weeks away, if he's in at center, which I fully expect, does that mean Brett Jones is at left guard for Tom Compton? Because all throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, I felt like if there's a weak link in that line, it's Tom Compton. I think he's a valuable backup and a swing guy, but I don't think he's the guy that you want there, all 16 games, especially if you're trying to get an interior running game going. I mean, you mentioned Dalvin Cook's big run before he fumbled. There wasn't a ton of room in there. He was working in some pretty tight spaces and just kind of hauling people, making people miss. He had another run where it was a fairly good run, made 3 people miss there. So, Cook was doing what he could. There were a couple times where I thought maybe there was a backside run that he missed. But in general, for his first game back, for as much time as he got, I was surprised. I thought Latavius Murray would get more time, and I thought when he was in there, the inside runs were better with Murray because he was looking a little bit more for the cutback, and he was also just hitting the hole a little bit better, I think, than Cook. So I think it's going to take Cook a little bit of time to get back, but man, in the passing game, he was really good.
Absolutely did. What's going on with Dalvin Cook's family right now?
Yeah, so we mentioned this on the Friday podcast. His uncle, who he was raised with, both of them raised by Dalvin's grandmother, and is actually younger than Dalvin. He's a football player at Florida International University. He is still in the hospital, and as of post-game on Sunday, still in an induced coma. So Dalvin is, what happened is he ended up getting shot in the neck, and according to Dalvin, the bullet came out kind of in the throat and mouth area, so he needed a tube put down to help him breathe. So Dalvin said he is going to talk with the Vikings and figure out if he's going to be going down there early this week. And as the NFL, kind of week-to-week schedule lays out, usually Monday and Tuesday are pretty light for the players. So I wouldn't be surprised if, as we speak here on Monday morning, he's already headed down to Florida or down there now, and maybe takes a couple days to visit with his uncle Anthony Jones.
Once a month during the season, we're going to do a live show at Mississippi Pub down in Inver Grove Heights. And, if there's a good day or time that you'd like to come down and see us, let us know. We have some flexibility in scheduling. We want to make sure we can do shows when people can show up and ask live questions, hang out with us, take advantage of their happy hours or their lunch specials, their diverse menu, and squeeze out as many days on that patio as we can before it starts to get cold, because it's a beautiful setting looking out over the river and the marina. It's 4455 66th Street East, Inver Grove Heights, and the show, our live shows are also supported by Beaver Island Brewing down at Mississippi Pub. Check out MississippiPub.com, and also check out Miss Pub on Twitter for all of their specials. And again, we like the fried pickles. I'm trying to remember what I had. I just had a nice salad last time I was down there, because I actually accidentally eat healthy once in a while. It does happen. They're open also for breakfast on Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 10 on 9 a.m. on Sunday, 9 a.m. on Saturday. Other days they open up at 11 for lunch, and they're open until either 10 p.m. or 2 a.m. depending on what night it is. So check out MississippiPub.com, and we thank them for having us out. We'll put it out on social media and also mention the upcoming shows when our next live shows are. Thielen ended up having a really big game and playing really well and looking like he had a nice connection, a nice intuitive connection with Cousins. Of course, I said before the season came in, I had a feeling that Diggs might be the number one receiver this year, and he had the beautiful touchdown catch. But Thielen was the guy in game one. Yeah,
and I do think that Diggs, coming into this season, he was my pick to be the more productive receiver, the guy that Kirk Cousins targets more often. And that may still happen. I think it's going to be a game-to-game thing. But where I think Thielen was so good was when Cousins gets flushed from the pocket, Thielen just seems to have that ability to get across the field, get in his field of vision, and make himself available. And so, if there's a lot of scrambling around, Thielen could be one of the guys that takes advantage of that. And the other thing is, I think Thielen's going to be in the slot more often, and that puts him closer to the field of vision. A lot of those nice seam throws were to Thielen for the